So one of the reasons why women are afraid to build deep or close relationships is because of the fear of betrayal. As we mature, we find out that meaningful relationships are intentionally built, not stumbled upon. When we are younger, growing up, we found out that our close friends in those years were people that we went to school together with. Maybe you lived on the same street, you were family friends, you went through the same experiences. But as you grow older, you'll find out that the people who will really remain in your life and be able to fill that space of closeness are people who you are intentional about building a relationship with, or who are intentional about building a relationship with you. And while our fear of betrayal can be valid, many times we find out that we get disappointed because of our expectations rather than the situation itself. We can be so sensitive to the minor details that we lose out on the major benefits of a particular relationship. Let me talk about 4 areas where our expectations can sometimes be dashed. Number 1, secrecy. Many of us have a high expectation of secrecy. And I understand that we don't want our business to be shared everywhere. That's valid, that's fine. But sometimes our bar for secrecy is set so high that nobody can really meet our expectations. I'll tell you that confidentiality is a much more relatable expectation that is more difficult to betray. So what's the difference between secrecy and confidentiality? Secrecy means you don't want any aspect or details of your situation repeated or shared. Confidentiality means that you don't want your identity and personal markers revealed or shared. This is a much more reasonable expectation. Let me explain. If you found the weight of your secret so heavy that it was difficult for you to bear, why do you now want to put that burden on another person? When in reality, there could be several other people going through exactly the same issue as you are. I shouldn't bear the burden of not having to speak about an issue because my friend has gone through it. I can speak about it without sharing any identifying details about that person so that nobody else knows that this person has gone through this matter. Also, there are many times that in order for the person that you've told to be able to give you the right kind of advice or get you the right kind of help, they need to share details about the situation, not about you, with other people. And so I could go to somebody and ask for counsel. What would you tell somebody who was going through this kind of matter? And the wise counsel I get, I could come and share it with you. If you are not bold enough to go to a third party to get the advice yourself. So to get help, I may need to share your story without necessarily sharing your details. In my line of work, I've done that many times to get people the help that they need. We've been able to raise financial help, emotional help, and moral support for people by sharing their stories without necessarily sharing their identifying details. And so they are able to maintain their dignity but get the help they need. So don't be so caught up on secrecy. Be more concerned about confidentiality. It's easier on the person that you are speaking with, and it reduces the possibility of you getting betrayed so that you don't get disappointed in that relationship. Another area where we could be setting unreasonable expectations is in attitudes. This happens often because we are not open about our feelings. Let me explain. Say you were building a new friendship or relationship, and suddenly you notice this resistance or reluctance in your friend. Most times, rather than probe it, you decide, oh, this person doesn't want to talk to me, or this person doesn't like me. And we react to that person's perceived attitude rather than open up and speak about it. One of the ways by which we need to be intentional in building relationships is by being open about our feelings. So you sense reluctance or resistance from your friend, open up and speak about it. Don't make a decision based on your assumption that they don't want to talk. Understand this, people are not always at 100%. And so they could be going through something at the time that you are reading as reluctance or resistance. Meanwhile, it's nothing to do with you. So speak about it, ask them, discuss the vibes you are getting from them, probe it a little further, but always give people the room for their inconsistencies. We need to learn not to run away from relationships because of suspicions. Rather, confront the suspicions and give room for them to be substantiated or not. Watch it over time. If it's still the same way, then you now have valid evidence on which to base your decision to continue with the relationship or to walk away from it. Number 3, idiosyncrasies. Let me say it simply. Let people be themselves. Strong friendships are not about us being the same kind of person. Rather, it's about us having the same values, especially where you're not even living together. This is somebody that you will see and talk with and move back again. It doesn't mean that as an introvert you cannot have an extrovert close friend. You can. Allow them be themselves. Don't be so caught up in the fact that your friend and you are not really similar and you don't really like the same things. Rather, be concerned about their values. Allow them be themselves, and you also should be yourself. Which brings me to my next point, which is space. In mature relationships, we understand that we don't have to talk every day. We don't have to see each other all the time. We don't have to speak for a certain number of hours per week. But when we do find the time to talk or to hang out together, it is deep and it is meaningful. A healthy relationship is one where space and boundaries are respected and even encouraged. You can safely tell each other that you need space and no offense will be taken. So if one or both of us in the relationship is married, we understand the boundaries between our friendship and our marriages. So I could say to my friend, I heard you just say your husband is back. You better go and attend to Oga. Or if I heard their child crying in the background, I could say to them, I think their baby needs attention. Go and attend to them. And there's no ill will. Nobody's thinking, oh, you're sending me away. You don't want to talk to me anymore. I can tell my friend that, you know what, I need space for the next few weeks. I'm going on a personal retreat. And it's respected. There are no issues. That is a healthy relationship. Lastly, respect. The binding factor in every lasting relationship is respect. There must be mutual respect in the relationship. The minute one person is feeling that they bring more to the table than the other person, there will be problems. Or when one person feels that what the other person brings to the table is not as meaningful as what they bring, there will be problems, there will be resentment, and there will be despise in the heart of somebody. Every party in the relationship must respect the other person. They must see what the other person brings to the relationship and they must value it. Sometimes one person is smarter, is wealthier, but what the other person brings to the relationship is that friendship itself. Because this other person knows that they don't have anybody to really speak with. So the other person becomes their only friend and confidant. And that is valuable to them. There must be mutual value and respect in the relationship. The minute it's lower on one side or there is a major imbalance, it's only a matter of time before we see major issues coming up in that relationship. So did you learn something in this video? Share it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. Ciao!